Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Data Dispatch. I hope you guys are having a great day. We for sure saw that the market had a great day as we have CPI data that comes in better than expected in terms of inflation for May. Now, this is very important for the probability of those first interest rate cuts. We're going to be giving you guys a full overview, so make sure you stay tuned, and especially some important comments that the Fed made today. Of course, we're going to be talking about the bread and butter that we've always been talking about on this channel for a long period of time, and that's Palantir Technologies. Still seeing a resistance at that 24 and basically consolidating on the day. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing, especially at a key resistance point. We're going to be re-exhibiting the theory of if a breakout could be here in the near future, especially correlated with the general market that was released today, general market data. And we'll be talking about NVIDIA, of course, as we still see lots of room for growth for that, even post 10-for-1 stock split. So if you're a new or returning viewer, hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos. I can't thank you guys enough for supporting a smaller content creator. And of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just collecting the data and dispatching it to you. Pop it up on the screen here, starting with Palantir Technologies. Closing here at 2370 in terms of volume at about 38 million, kind of slightly higher than we have been seeing over the previous few days. One thing I want to specifically look at here is on the intraday, you see Palantir that gets up here to 24.36. Coming back down here, finding support basically around this $24 resistance area. Now, we could possibly have a push up here in the near future if there's any bullish catalysts that come along with PLTR. One other thing that I'm seeing is that the daily short volume is continuing to decrease, especially compared to the day before, which is at 4.26 million. Now, today, only at 3.82 million. So we are seeing these large institutional investors that are decreasing their short position, which tells me, especially in the short term, that they are predicting a bullish type of trading pattern that could be basically exhibited at any time. What we're seeing for PLTR, short interest continuing to decline. Could be testing here. We'll be getting into the details about what this breakout could mean in a second. But I want to talk about what's happening in the market, especially as Wall Street climbs today and surprisingly encountering a positive inflation report. Now, this is another one. S&P 500 climbs about 0.9% today to set another record high. And the action was even stronger as we saw Treasury yields that actually dropped after the inflation. CPI data show that prices were 3.3% higher compared to what the analysts were expecting at 3.4%. Now, of course, cooling inflation is very important for all of us trying to survive in this crazy economy, but it also opens the door for those first federal interest rate cuts, and that is one of the biggest things that we are riding on right now. The prediction of 2 interest rate cuts by the end of the year, and this is giving a good boost to the confidence behind that and the actual probability. Now, the Fed, they decided today to hold interest rates steady on Wednesday following its latest policy meeting. And what they basically say is that they'll need more good data to bolster the confidence. And he said that the mantra and what they're looking and working forward is the sustainability heading towards 2%. And that we have to see where the data lights the way. Basically saying we need to see more data that inflation is continuing to cool towards that 2% target rate, and then we will possibly re-exhibit the idea, rediscuss the idea of talking about those interest rate cuts, because they don't want to do it too soon, as it could re-accelerate inflation back into the market. So positive things regarding general market today. Let's take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, Moomoo. Now, Moomoo is your one-stop trading app that offers free commission trading along with very powerful investment tools, making it easier for you to make those confident decisions within the market. Right now, new users can sign up utilizing my welcome bonus down in the description, and you can get up to 8.1% limited time APY on uninvested cash and up to 15 free stocks with a deposit. You also can get up to a $300 transfer in bonus. So you do not want to miss out on those rewards. Make sure you check out Moomoo down in the description. Back to the video. Now, Palantir stock. Let's talk about that. Finally, a breakout ahead of us. One of the big things that we do need to understand is that right here, some people wouldn't be surprised if we do see a Palantir breakout. Right now, the technicals are looking good. It is overcoming its bearish head and shoulders pattern that it has suffered through for a decent amount of time. It's traded sideways, established some critical support at that $20 and $21 area, and we're seeing this run up in momentum that's being coupled with the market. And the rally behind PLTR really shows you on the strategic roadmap in establishing these critical contracts that are continuing to be very successful and big headliners within the media. Of course, we talked about the $480 million deal. This is a big thing with the Maven Smart system. You also have one of the standout deals here, this $178 million contract. And with these contracts that are running through for the next half of a decade, it's really solidifying its role and showing you that the government is building credibility within Palantir and vice versa. In looking at innovation, we've seen AIP be very successful in its path ahead. Now, talking about the upcoming earnings release, it's going to be happening in about 2 months. Right now, they're forecasted to report earnings per share of about 8 cents. This would showcase a 60% upward movement from the corresponding quarter of the prior year, so year over year. Estimating consensus here of $652 million in terms of revenue. Now, what we do see in terms of announcement dates, like I said, estimated to about 2 months away from now. Earnings per share revisions are actually 7 in the bullish direction and 2 in the bearish. One thing that I actually like in this data that I have right here is we actually see some bearish earnings per share revisions, because in the last several quarters we've only seen bullish. And I think this is important as Wall Street is kind of putting the brakes on PLTR, basically having this expectation that it can just keep growing to this unsustainable, in my kind of opinion, type of expectation. And the fact that Palantir altered its future guidance, so that's where we saw the correction from the 25s back to the 20s, missing on the guidance here, basically changing their future guidance, I think is important because now they are bringing reality to the table, and it's more likely to see improvement rather than disappointment. And at the bottom line here, improvement in any way, shape, or form can bring positive momentum and emotion into a stock, and begs to see the earnings at the end of the summer here could be a big catalyst for PLTR entering into that next zone, depending how things go. We've already seen some crazy huge contracts, so I think it's going to be another positive earnings report where we stand right now. Now, of course, a lot of variables are still up in the air on what can happen in the general market. Let's talk about NVIDIA and their next big move, because what we've seen is NVIDIA not just grow in terms of percentages, but multiples. And getting here in this 10-for-1 stock split, we've seen analysts that are keep continuing to boost their targets. We're talking $150 now, which before this split would be $1,500. Now, one thing that they are doing is developing chips at the speed of light. They are accelerating, and NVIDIA already has its next generation Blackwell chip series in production, and they also unveiled a new AI chip that it intends to bring to the market in 2026. Rubin, this is a chip that's going to succeed Blackwell and will include GPUs as well as new CPUs to make a whole complete data center system. They are really trying to hold competition and be a leader in this market, which they already are, just staying ahead of the game. And the massive volume of the data centers that are spending is being reflected in NVIDIA's earnings report. That the need for this generative AI power, companies are biting at the table to get a piece of the pie, to get AI incorporated in their name. And we see the business segment for NVIDIA continue to grow. And I think this is a big catalyst. All the companies coming in here, and you see here NVIDIA, Rivian Automotive announcing it'll be using NVIDIA chips. We have Tesla saying it's going to be using NVIDIA chips. All these different companies starting to come saying, hey, we're going to use NVIDIA because they are the leader in the game right now. That is only going to further accelerate, of course, the share price for the stock. And what analysts are saying right now, $150, that's another $30 from where it is now. So big things are happening in the market. I want to know, do you think Palantir will experience this breakout in the near future that now we're kind of pointing our heads towards? Do you think the interest rate cuts are looking more realistic, of course, with inflationary data? And do you think NVIDIA will still have room to run? And do you think that $150 price target is realistic? I want to talk to you guys in the comments. Peace out. Take care. Have a great night.